Anyway, though, and what was so motivating to me and so beautiful to me is the team, myself, Jack, former Navy SEAL, DB, Marsoc Marine, myself, Ty, Navy SEAL, former Navy SEAL. We don't even need to be told what to do. We're already moving. We're already going to what we need to do and get our stuff, get the vehicles, because we only have a few armored vehicles on the compound, because we generally use soft-skin vehicles to drive, unarmored vehicles to drive around town in, because you blend in better. We have a couple armored vehicles that we drive around for things like this, and it's beautiful. Nobody needs to say a word. Everybody's doing what they need to do. And anybody that's seen the trailer, when you see Dominic Famusa running by John Krasinski, that's Dominic plays Tig, John plays Jack, running by and going, the consulate center attack, and they just start moving without talking after that. That's exactly how it happens. And it's when you got the brotherhood like that, it's so inspiring, and it's so confidence built. The confidence in the world that you can take on anything. And I go inside. You know, I meet the team leader halfway. I say, what's going on? I can see what's going on, but I'm giving him the respect. And I say, what's going on? He says, hey, consulate center attack, roger that. DB has our SUV pulled up. I go get a machine gun, because I don't know what exactly we're going to be running into. There's only 6 of us. I already have my rifle. I got my shorts on. I put magazines all in my shorts. I grab a 200 round drum, sling it over my shoulder, grab my go bag that has all my other stuff in it, grab my night vision, and I'm out the door, and at 9:37, we're ready to go. I remember heading to the vehicle, heading to my vehicle, looking at Ty. Ty passed away that night, and Ty, I remember him going like this to me, and I gave it like this to him, and that means we're ready to go. 9:37, 5 minutes, we're out to go, we can go. And I remember going up to our chief of base, Bob, and our GRS team leader, looking at him going, hey, we're good, we're ready to roll. I remember Bob looking at the team leader about this far away, and he didn't even have the common courtesy to look at me. He tells the team leader, goes, you tell those guys they need to wait. The team leader looks at me and says, you guys need to, and I go, I got it. I'm hearing you, I'm right here. I walk back to the car, and I remember looking at Ty. Ty was like this to me, and I get in the vehicle, and Dave looked at me and goes, what's going on? Tony says, we gotta wait. I got on the radio, I said, hey guys, Bob's saying we need to wait. Now, I'll give them those first 5 minutes. I will, because I was an officer in SF. I was an enlisted team leader at Ranger Battalion. I may have got 5 minutes too, just trying to maybe get somebody to help us. Because again, there's only 6 of us, and the State Department guys are getting hammered. I mean, you're just seeing how much fire is going on over there. But in the back of my head, I'm going, wait a second, there's no military here. We haven't made a rapport with the local militias at all, which is generally what we do. We try to even live with them in some of these places. I've lived with them in Kandahar. But I'm like, I'm not a leader. I'm not in charge of this. Let's let them figure it out. Now, if you remember, I told you I gave the State Department guys a radio if they ever needed help. And right about this time, we're starting to hear a call for help. And we're like, Scott, it's like, calling radio guys, we've been overrun, we need you. Guys, we're crackling, and again, we're taking heavy fire, we need you here now. Now think of it as you've given your word to your buddies that if they were ever in dire need and you'd come, that you'd be there in a heartbeat, and you're having to sit on your thumbs. And you're just sitting there. And you're trying not to show that you're angry or you're frustrated or you're excited, because there's 20 plus civilians on the base itself. And if you start showing panic, then they're going to really panic, and then you're like herding cats on the base while you're trying to get off of it too. So you're just maintaining your military bearing. Well, 10 more minutes go by since the initial call for help. And this time, Tig, I see him get out in front of his vehicle. He's in a sedan up ahead of myself and DB's SUV. He goes around to the front of it. He looks directly at Bob, and I'm going to say this just like I've said it so many times, even though certain congressional politicians still call me a liar. Tig went around and goes to Bob, he goes, we're losing the initiative, we need to go. And Bob looks right up at Tig, and this is the exact words that were said to Tig and to us. You guys need to stand down. It was said, period, it was said. I don't care who says it wasn't, it was said. And I'll punch them in the face if they ever come into my face. None of them was going to say it when I'm ever around them. I've been at some of the studios, Fox and CNN, and of course nobody's going to question it there. Geraldo won't come say anything to me at Fox Studio. He'll wait till I get out and I'll go on TV and say. But that was said. And that was hard because we're told stand down. Well, 10 more minutes go by. It's been 25 minutes since the initial attack, and the radios kind of got silent now from the State Department guys, so we figured they're dead. And we're going to get over there and be cleaning bodies. We're still going. But in the movie, if you've seen the movie trailer, they got this part exactly right too. Alec Henderson comes across the radio, State Department officer, he's in the talk, and he goes, if you guys don't get here, we're all going to F and die. And it kind of gave us a sense of, oh, all right, they're still alive. Come on, we've got to get out of here. And we weren't taking orders anymore. This time I got out of the car, I looked at my GRS team leader, I said, we'll get in the effing car, we're going. I didn't care what Bob was saying, I could care less. He was out. As far as I'm concerned, his leadership had gone. We're not listening to you anymore. You can get on me later and throw me in jail later. We're going to help our buddies. And I remember Ty looking at me going like this. And I'm like, Ty, we're going, we're moving. And as I'm going back to the vehicle, my vehicle, I'm thinking in my head going, what do we need? I'm wargaming this constantly. We need something. What else do we need? What else do we need? And like, we need an interpreter because I don't speak the language well enough. And I know we're going to probably link it up with some militia, even though I don't know which militia it will be. And I don't speak Arabic well enough. And as I'm going by, and it's timing, maybe it's the Lord blessing us, I don't know what it was. I tend to think it was the Lord blessing us. He blessed us a lot that night. But our interpreter came walking by me. Right at that time, I was thinking that. And our interpreter there was a desk interpreter. He was about 5'7", balding, heavy-set, Egyptian. He looked like the Egyptian Bob Newhart. He looked exactly like Bob Newhart. And he was the cutest thing I ever seen. He's the nicest guy. And I remember him, because I even get giggles laugh because I always just giggle at him. I'd watch him come in the chow hall and I'd just laugh because he was the cutest little thing. But he was a desk interpreter. He wasn't a combat interpreter, which basically means he sits at a desk and deciphers or translates material, or he goes on meetings at like our dinner meetings or things. He doesn't go out in the field. But I remember going up to him, and that being said, he's not weapons qualified either. So I remember going up to him and I said, Henry, I said, man, we need you. I've been through this before. I don't speak the language well enough. I need somebody who can talk to whoever we're going to be linking up with. And he goes, Tom, man, I'm not weapons qualified. And I pulled my pistol out, I gave it to him, pulled my magazines out, I said, well, we got over that first wall, and we're hearing TIG fire that 40mm grenades down at the fighting positions, the machine gun positions that are blocking us, and there's also right at the front of the consulate. And we're moving as expeditiously as possible. You're basically playing the ultimate game of hide and go seek. You're in these back areas, you got your night vision on, but there's still a lot of dark, dead space areas, and you're just slowly clearing corners, move, and you're going in, and your anal sphincter is about this big around. Because, you know, if you get caught, this game of hide and go seek, if you get caught, you're dead. You know, you get shot in the head or somewhere. You're not going back to your home base and starting a new game. And it did. It took us almost 25 minutes to go 400 meters. And it took Tig, by the time Tig, John, and Ty fought their way down that straight line road, it took them about 25 minutes too. So it wasn't a 25-minute delay from us to get to the ambassador and get to the consulate. It was almost an hour. And by then, we didn't know at the time, but by then they were dead smoking, like Scott, Sean Smith, and Ambassador Stevens. But anyway, we linked up on the consulate. We finally both got on. We fought the Ansar Sharia off at least temporarily. And then we started to do our thing on the consulate. Now, the book goes in a lot greater detail of some of the things we're doing. You know, there's so many different perspectives. The book was written by all five of us that survived. So I'll let you read the book and get some of the different things there. But I want to point out two main things. Is we did get on that consulate, and we did try to find the ambassador, and we did try to find Sean Smith. And we were going in that villa that was on fire. And I'll tell you what, it felt like a pizza oven. Every time you went in there, it's like you hit a wall. A lot of you firefighters, if you know what I'm talking about. Diesel fumes and black smoke, you can't see a thing. You try to put your flashlight on, it just reverberates back, and you can't breathe in it. And I remember that I was clearing a building, trying to find guys, because there's 4 different buildings on this 8-acre compound, and we're clearing them all to make sure we can find all the State Department guys. I remember finding the last building, clearing it. It had Al Henderson in it, coming back to the villa. And I distinctly remember Dave coming up to me, Dave, my buddy, going, we lost one. And I remember in my head going, what do you mean we lost one? He goes, the IT guy, we lost the IT guy. I go, what IT? What are you talking about? I go, Sean Smith, he goes, and I'm thinking in my head, crap, Sean, he just got there 2 days earlier. He just got there. Like, crap. And Dave, he's pissed. He's angry because he knows that if we would have left earlier, Sean would still be alive. And I did tell that to Mike Rogers in his House Intel subcommittee. I don't know why his report came out differently. And that's what I told him. that if we would have left early, we would have saved the ambassador and Sean Smith's life. But I remember getting Dave and saying, Sergeant, relax. We got a long night ahead of us. It's only 11:30. Come on. And he gets himself back into it, and I run around the front of the building, and I see Dave Ubben, State Department officer, and I see Jack Silva, Navy SEAL. I see him pulling Sean Smith's body out of a window. And, you know, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not like the movies. If somebody's dead, they're dead. You can tell they're dead. I'm not going to even try to church it up. But Jack, being the angel that he is, and he's seeing Scott kind of go into shock, because Scott, we finally find Scott, we get him out of that building, and we find Dave Ubben, you know, he lost one of his buddies, and they've just been basically overwhelmed. Jack does try to resuscitate him, even though he's not going to be able to, because he's dead. But Jack tries to, and it's not going to work. And our team leader comes up after we cleared the consulate, and we got it secure. He drives up with the truck and parks it. And he, for his heroism that night, he got the highest award you can get at the agency. But anyway, at least he got the car up to us so we could load people into it. But we put Sean in the back. I remember I said a prayer over Sean's body. And right when I closed the back door of that SUV that was up there, a huge explosion hits on the back of the veil and it knocks me down. And I'm like, whoa, what was that? And then you're starting to hear a little bit of a watershed again, little snaps coming again. Well, I see a 17th February Mars Brigade or some local, because locals had started to mill back onto the compound now. Now we got locals or militia or people with AKs, guns, they're everywhere on the compound, and they're starting to come back on. And I see this guy run by me, his hand's gone, it's missing, there's no hand, there's just a piece of flesh. And I remember just out of reaction, just out of instinct, I look at a Libyan, I don't know if he spoke English, but I said, hey, what happened? And he said, grenade. He just kind of said grenade in Arabic. Little, you know, I guess he spoke decent English, but that's what I heard him say. And I'm thinking, well, this guy probably tried to cook the grenade off. I don't even know if he's friends with us. So he probably tried to hold it, cooking off grenade. He held it for a long time, threw it, so your enemy can't throw it back at you. But he mistaked how long. He probably counted to 5 instead of 4, and blew his hand off. So I was thinking, well, it serves him right. Don't throw grenades at us anymore, you Jack and Henny. Don't do that stuff. Then a second explosion hit, though, at the same location, and this time I knew it was like, crap, it's RPG. And then it just, like the water faucet turned on, just snaps coming right, because it's almost like the villa's there, explosion on the backside, and there's a little alleyway running straight here, and I'm basically right here. And I remember snap going. Remember, I just took a knee, and I just started shooting. And whatever flash I could see, I just started shooting. What had happened is some local had opened up the back gate and allowed whoever it was, Ansar al-Sharia, Al-Qaeda, Maghreb, or a bit of both, to counterattack us. And so I'm just shooting. I remember shooting, just aiming and shooting. And I remember I heard a little beep, goes beep, and I look up, and I was blocking the State Department guys. They were trying to get off the compound, because we had actually got them in a vehicle. We wanted them to get off the compound to get back to our annex. So I'm shooting, and I hear a little beep, I look up, and I remember I just did this. I just went out of the way, I said, well, come on, man, come on. And they drove by. And I remember hearing Ty tell them, when you go outside the gate, make sure you go right and not left. Again, the media didn't tell you this. They went left. There was an Ansar al-Sharia safe house 200 meters from the consulate. The consulate was built next to a terrorist safe house. We told them that. I know Scott, Alec, and Dave, they did what they could. I know they put it up to their head shed. I can't tell you why it wasn't adhered, why something wasn't done about it. But the thing that sucks is I take a knee back and I'm shooting again. I'm out in the open just like this. I'm shooting. I remember take another look and I see them and they go right. I'm like, damn it. What can you do? We're under fire right now too. And let the book go into it. I won't go into it, but they did get hammered. They got ambushed bad. And their level 7 armor held. And I remember asking Scott when we got to Germany, I was like, how did you get through that? Because they got back to when I saw the vehicle, when we got back to our annex, it was on fire, run flats, and it was decimated. And he said, the RPGs missed. So God's looking out for him. I think those RPGs missed it at a range.